Okay, I got an admission in University of Birmingham, where I went to read MPhil. MPhil. That's right. I read MPhil in special education.
Okay.
Now, when I came back, now they gave me part-time lecturing in the university.
That's in Barry University.
That's right. Yes. Now I braille on my lecture note, and then I use my fingertips to dictate to the student.
I was about to ask you, how will you communicate with the students?
Yes, I read my braille books and my braille papers. Whatever information I want, I just use my fingertips to read and then dictate to the student. And if there is any word they don't understand, then I spell it out. I spell it out to the students. One important question I want you to ask me is, how do I mark the script of my student?
I will ask you that, Professor.
All right.
I do know that I have a lot of questions for you, but you know, there is something about questions. You ask one, others keep coming.
That's
you understand?
Right. That's right.
Yes, and I was a lot, just like I asked you now, how did you interrupt and cope with your students? How did you attend to their questions? Because some of them could have questions, and how do you communicate with them? Now, how do you mark their scripts?
Now, I have two ways of marking my script.
Okay.
My wife is a graduate.
Wow.
So I provide her with a marking scheme. And then she marked my script for me. But because I want to be fair to the student, I ask them to send, when I give them an assignment, I ask them to sort of send all their assignments to me through internet. That is to say, for me to be able to listen.
Read it.
Yeah, to be able to listen and then and mark it.
Wow.
And I use the JAWS as well.
Wow.
And you know, mark the script. That is to say, the exam script as well.
Yeah.
I used to use that braille machine. I mean, the JAWS, and then mark the script of the student as well.
That's the same thing you use in marking it.
Yes.
And you get it perfectly.
And sometimes I used to sit with my wife if there is no light
and she
and my phone or my laptop has no charge. What I used to do now is just to sit with my wife and say, read the question for me, and then once she read it out, and then I give her a marking scheme.
Okay.
And then sometimes once she mark it, then I take it again, put it into the computer, make sure that the way I ask her to mark, she marked it appropriately.
And she does it very well.
She does it very well. It's a graduate, my wife.
You said so, that she's a graduate. But
That's
you
right.
must tell her thank you for that too.
I do, of course.
You tell her thank you now.
Oh,
too.
really? I do. I do. I really thank her for that.
That's a good
You see, if the person is visually impaired, definitely sure he doesn't need to marry a lady that is not educated. Because
yeah, and that's another one.
Yeah, you know, you have to, and you cannot read, like houses, they say blind, marry blind, cripple, marry cripple.
That's a wrong one, right?
It's a wrong one,
Very
of course.
wrong one, yeah.
So there are some students who are very sympathetic anyway. So they used to say, all right, I will marry you in order to help you mark your business, mark your script and all
that
those
your
kind
story?
of things. Yes.
Okay, so she decided to marry you.
Yeah.
Because and she loves you.
Yeah.
She just felt again that I will marry you
That's
so that
right.
I can help you move on in life.
There are many, many ladies, you know, in Lagos and this in the southern part of the country who marry, you know, blind individual, and they go wherever they go with them as well.
That's true, Professor.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. Yeah, thank you so much, Professor. It's been a good one chatting up with you about your personal issues and school issues and being a professor. Now the question I'll ask you, being the first physically challenged person as a professor, how do you feel and how do you work around it?
Well, alhamdulillah, what I can say, all the time I always thank God for making me a professor, because I really, like I've told you before, I don't think a person with visual problem could be a professor as well. But
yeah, you told me that.
Yes, really, but this time around, alhamdulillah, wherever I go, people are very much willing to, you know, welcome me, very much willing to sit down with me, very much willing to chat with me, very much willing to ask me questions. You know, I have about 35 articles.
I will come there. But as a visually impaired person, when you were growing up, have you ever thought that in your personality you would be a professor someday, teaching students right in the classroom in school?
I have that feeling, really. I really do have that feeling, because all my colleagues, you know, that are staying with me are trying as much as possible to, you know, make a lot of papers So the same thing with me. I make a lot of papers that qualify me to be a professor. But alhamdulillah, one good part of it is everybody is very much willing to sit down with me, read. When I say, all right, this is my paper, they sit down with me, they read that paper. If there is any correction,
they give you attention.
They give me attention, and they correct whichever article I write for presentation in the journal.
In the now that we are in Kano, you have people around, you meet people. How do you communicate with them? How do you see them? Do you like the way they treat you? Do you like the way they communicate with you, interrupt with you, back in school, or even in the community?
Well, in the community, yes. In the school, I say yes, because before, really, they don't think I'll become a professor.
That's why I asked that question.
Yeah, they don't think I'll become a professor, so they don't usually want to stay with me. They shy away from me.
Wow.
Because some people think I don't want to work. He is blind. Yeah. He is deaf. He is physically challenged. I don't want to go. They look shy.
But because now you have a name.
Yeah, because now I'm a professor. they really wanted to stay with me. They want to do everything with me. Whatever they do, sometimes even they ask for my advice before they do it.
Wow.
So I really thank God for that.
So do they sometimes ask you how you get where you are?
What, I don't know what you mean by that.
How you become a professor, like you sit with them, they could imagine. These are people who don't want to sit with you. They want to move along with you. But getting down, they just want to get. Have they ever asked you that question? How did you come here? How did you get to this?
Because whatever I do it in their presence. I do it in their presence anyway. I don't think they do ask me such a silly questions anyway.
Yeah.
But definitely sure, everybody is proud. Now they are proud of me. And alhamdulillah, without any prejudices, I really stay with them and I enjoy my stay with them, definitely sure.
Yeah, as a visually impaired person, like in the society, in our country today, like you let your students, you communicate with them. So each time you communicate with them as your students, do they come back to like tell you one or two things like how they appreciate you, like they are learning from you?
Definitely sure, of course. Definitely sure they do that. They ask me, they appreciate me. In fact, there was one boy who said, "Sir, how do you eat food? How do you look at your mouse?" Well, and I said, "Do you look at your mouse when you eat?" He said, "I know my mouse." And the same thing with me. I know my mouse. And some people were asking me, "Sir, are your wives blind as well?"
They ask you this question?
Yes.
And you get offended?
No, I'm not offended. I'm not offended. And some people say, "Sir, how many people," that is in the community.
Yeah.
They say, "How many blind people have they gathered for you to teach?" Then I say, "No, I will not tell you that. Come and look at me in the class. Then I can tell you how many blind people I teach." It is only when they come, they see the normal people. I used to take about 300 students, in my class. 300 students. I lecture them, and everybody, believe me, everybody is very much willing to come. They never come late during examination.
They're excited to have you
They're excited, of course. They are.
That's a good one.
They are. They really are.
Okay, looking back in our society, we have a lot of visually impaired persons and people, and you discover that most of them use the opportunity to hawk around like begs. I don't know what word you could, sitting on this platform, as our guest of the week today, what can you tell them? Because I believe that one of them could be like you. How can they be like you? Because if they can't see, I know they can hear, they can listen. They listen to radio. And whatever interview we're having here, you can view it in radio, even on television. So what can you tell people of such persons?
Madam,
yes,
many of our blind people are very much willing to go for education.
Good.
Very many of them. But the only thing they fear is when they finished their education, there is no job. Because the only thing they think, you see, our people are not yet educated. Once you are visually impaired, definitely sure, if you are supported, we need mentoring and support. Yeah. If you are supported, definitely sure there is nothing you cannot do. So there are very many of them that have finished their degrees. There are those of them that have finished their masters even. And I know of some few individuals that are now doing their PhD program. But the only thing they fear is this, that when they come out to work, they don't have work to do. Because
and if I may ask you, Professor, what do you think can be done about it? Do you think the government needs to come in, or do you think the society needs to do something about it?
You haven't asked me about my advisory. When I was a special advisor,
yeah. I'm coming to that.
Okay.
I will come there.
Okay, ask me this question about what have I done when I was the special advisor to the governor.
Okay.
Then I can be able to tell you what.
Okay, tell me.
All right.
At one time, you were a special advisor to one of the sitting governor, that's Malam Shekaro, and you were the special advisor on physically challenged persons.
On disabled matters.
Yes, exactly. That's the physically challenged people.
That's right. Yes.
So what did you do on the matters, and how did you manage it as
right.
you?
Right.
Yeah, because that was a question too.
Yeah.
The first time I was asked, I'm going to be having this interview with you. And when I get into your profile and I saw this, I was like, how did he manage to be an advisor to Shekaro? How did he actually manage to do this? How did you handle this office? And you did it perfectly well.
Well, I'm not a politician, but I am a politician anyway because of Malam Ibrahim Shekaro. All right.
Okay, good.
Now, Malam Ibrahim Shekaro is a very, very good man. Although they don't want us to be saying it.
Mashallah.
He's a very nice individual.
Wow.
Whatever he said, definitely sure he will do it. Now, when I didn't look for this appointment. He was the one who saw me at Jumat Mosque in BUK, and then beckoned my son. Then when I went to the car, I went with his bus. He said, "Come and meet me in the office. I want to give you an assignment." Wow. Then when I went, he said, "Well, I want to appoint you as my advisor on disabled matters. Can you do it?" Then I said, "I want to try it, sir." Then he said, "It's all right."
You told him you want to try it.
Yeah, that's what I've said. I want to try. So when I enter into my office, the first thing I do is I just send him my profile, what I wanted to do. I said I want to concentrate much on education. That is to say, education for all the disabled people, education of their son and themselves too. Because I don't want them to, going about, begging, going with their children to go about begging. And I said their education should be free. Nothing, the single kobo should not be collected from them.
That was what you said?
Yes, a single kobo. Even up now they are doing it.
Okay.
So he said he has agreed with that. Then I say, all right, I want you now, apart from educating them, I want you now to make sure that all these people have something doing after when they finished their schooling. He has agreed on that. Now, there he now collected about no, employment, sorry, I say employment. Now he give about 500 disabled people employment.
500?
500, and he said,
that is a huge
so long I'm the advisor, during his stay, every 4 months, in every 4 months, definitely sure he will take more 500 people. But then I was about to be, expelled from my PhD program. So, and I said, sorry sir, I can't stay all this while. But it is better for me to go and continue. Unfortunately for the disabled, the person who took up from me could not make it because he didn't know we have discussed this with the governor.
Okay.
All right. Now, thirdly is I say, all right, I want you please to make sure that these people have some stipends. That is to say, those who can work, who cannot be able to work, those who stay at home, they certainly need, what they call it in England, an allowance day.
Something to sustain them.
That's right, that's right. And I say at least these people, I told the governor that at least these people, they at least need about 50,000 naira, at least. Yeah. That was what I proposed to the governor. So he said, and I said, before I do this, I have to know the number, the exact number of the disabled people we are going to give this money to. And they have agreed. They give me some money to go and do the census. Not until when I'm about to finish the census, then I left, and it couldn't continue.
It couldn't continue.
Yes.
And during your time as a special advisor to Malam Shekaro, and what was there any challenge in that office for you?
I can say no, yes.
No, yes.
What I can say is, Malam Shekaro used to ask me to go and take some notes for him, especially when we're having a meeting you know, every Wednesday they used to hold a meeting, right?
Yeah.
They used to hold a meeting every Wednesday.
Yes.
So he said, let me try Malam JIBRIL. He said, please, JIBRIL, take minutes of the meeting for me.
Okay.
Then I did. Okay. I wonderfully did it, and he was very happy when I did it.
Okay.
So you see, I'm very much proud of that, and I'm very much happy. But in my office, well, sometimes, you know, not all bad things you can be able to say.
That's true.
Especially, you know,
when it has to do with politics.
That's right. So I really found it very difficult with the officers that are really taking care of
Okay, but at your time, when you were a special advisor to Malam Shekaru, how many students were you able to motivate, like try to give them a hand, a seat, a
Yes,
place?
there are very many students, I think about 25.
25.
Yes.
And you still communicate with them today?
I do, of course, I do. You see, Braille machine is one of the most expensive equipment during that time we have ever experienced.
Mm.
Now, the Braille machine, you see, it cost about 300,000 naira.
Mm.
You see, it is not everybody that can afford 300,000, right? Yeah, yes. So, I was able to give them. They hide some in the office, and they bring out some. So, in fact, very many of them are really making it, and they were able to have Braille machine. What I want to do now is make sure that the visually impaired and other disabled have computer. Mm. If you go to the southern part of the country, even here in Abuja, all the blind people you can see, they go about with their computers that talk to them, and they used to take notes with that computer. So that's what I want to bring down to KANO. So that you know, our people can be able to do it. So I'm now planning to open an inclusive school.
Okay.
I'm planning to open an inclusive school. Having been a professor, I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave a policy. You see, I've already started leaving a policy on free education, I've told you, and I've already started leaving a policy on employment for persons with disabilities.
Wow.
Believe me. So even this. Anyway, I don't want to say make any references.
I know you're not making any references, Professor.
Yes,
but at least for what you just said now, what really got you into? You just want to visually impaired and disabled people to have a stand and to have a say and to be able to, like, you know, nationalize themselves when it gets to educational level.
Yeah, you see, if you're educated, definitely sure. Can you, as I'm going now on the road, can you give me sadaqah?
No, I can give you sadaqah.
Right. Now, I have forgotten to even... Are we safe? All right?
We're fine.
All right. Now, I have introduced community-based rehabilitation.
Good. We'll take it from there, Professor. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue. All right. So you tell me that story you want to tell me.
Okay.
We'll be right back, still on the Guest of the Week on Rahma TV. We'll be right back.
Police that can respond to emergencies first.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
If it happen with good laws,
proper funding,
training,
and cooperation.
If it happen.
If it happen.
If it happen.
Welcome back on the program. We're still on our Guest of the Week program. And don't forget, my guest is still with me in the studio, Professor JIBRIL. And it's been very interesting meeting him and getting to talk to him about visually impaired persons, and you should know they are just one of us. We move together, we deal with it together, and we learn from them as well. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So before we go on a short break, you were telling me something about the dreams and something you decide you wanted to do for visually impaired persons and disabled people.
That's right. What I've told you that I wanted to do is community-based rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation.
Yeah. What I mean by that is I would want to go to the city and talk to those people that are roadside mechanics, where they can be able to sort of train the deaf.
Wow.
How to make a car, how to make machines, how to make all these kind of things. And I go to the tailors as well. And ask them to sort of train our disabled people tailoring. That is to say, those who are there is one visually impaired person, you know, who is tailoring now.
That's nice.
Yeah, he's
nice.
visually impaired.
Yeah.
And all these kind of things. Even the governor, we wanted to start it, and he gave us about 9 million naira for a start.
That's nice.
For a start. So we have started it, but then before we finished the program, like I've told you, that I left office, and you know, I couldn't finish
the governor you're embarking to say was a former governor, Malam Shekaro?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So you started that during his tenure, but you couldn't finish it.
Of course.
And now the vision came back to you. So how do you decide to go about it now, that you think it is a good one to give back to your community?
No, I don't think if they appoint me as an advisor this time around, I will do it.
Why wouldn't you do it?
No, because I'm now an academician.
Okay, good.
I'm an academician. I prefer to stay in my academic life other than,
you preferred it?
Yeah, than to continue with politics.
So, and what source would you have want or would you like to use to get to the visually impaired persons and disabled people to do what you're planning to do for them?
Really, I have been speaking to some people who are very much willing to sort of help the disabled. Well, I don't need to mention name, but
no, don't mention name.
Yeah, but there are very many of them that are very much willing to.
They are interested in
that are very much willing to assist us to make sure that they stop us. They stop seeing us, you know, going about, you know, begging in the street. You know, it is the Kano State policy. Well, they say they don't want people to go about begging. Really, begging is not good. Definitely,
but they can provide.
But you know, at least they need to, you know, provide an allowances for them, so that they can be taking care of their parent, their whoever. At least if they can be able to make about 20,000 naira for them, definitely sure they can be able to live on that 20,000 naira.
Yes, Professor, we are going to be talking about your achievement, and partly we're going to be talking about your personal, you know, your routine of personal life with your family. But something tricky that we need to talk about it now, to ask you this question. Looking at the society, the community, the country itself called Nigeria, we have a lot of visually impaired persons. Not even only that, we have disabled people, we have some people who have been left behind, like they don't have people to help them. You understand? Just like you are opportune to meet one or two persons in your story, and they have brought you here. You've been saying so many good things about the Professor Hassan, right? In Barry University. He really boosts your mind. If not that, you wouldn't have been part of where you are today. And you've been like talking so good about him. What do you think you can say on this seat as our guest today?
Well, you know...
what would you say? And how would you want these people to be reached? By the government or individually? Somebody could just say, I would want to do this for them. How do you think one can come up with that?
Definitely sure. You see, this is something very difficult for me to say something about it, because you know how our people are. Definitely sure. I've even forgotten to mention one of my teachers and one of my colleagues, Professor M.K. Bashir. He was one of the best as well, who did help me during my studies. And there is one Malam Dayanu. He always worked with me. But you know, coming to the society, there are very many people, you know, who are willing. But the only thing I wanted to say is, please, for our blind people, don't wear ragged clothes.
Okay.
Thinking that if you wear ragged clothes, people will sympathize with you. You will dress immaculately.
Yeah.
Make sure you look impeccable, so that people will definitely like you. But if you wear ragged clothes, thinking that maybe
that's the only way people could give you money or
which is bad. It's very, very bad. So, like myself now, whoever look at me, you know, I will never.
And that was why I said if I see you on the street, I can give you money. So you asked me that question, and I said I can, because you are well in order, dressed well and looking good. So, yes. So that's what I want our people to do now. The disabled people, whether you're blind, whether you're deaf, whether you're physically challenged, that is to say, you know, we have cognitive exceptionalities and physical or sensorial exceptionalities, going back to special education. So make sure you definitely shall look fine, and people will love to have you. I have said this, the Accountant General is my colleague in primary school. Wow, the Accountant General of Nigeria? Yes, and he has been doing very, very good for me. Wow. He has been doing, wherever he see me, he even stopped in his car and shake me with his hand and say, I'm proud of you are my colleague and all this kind of thing. He's very good. Yeah. I'm telling you, he's very good. I think me too would say it's a privilege to have you on this program. Yeah. Talking with you and having this discussion with you. Yeah, that's right. In part of your achievement, when we profiled it, we saw it. We saw that you had something to do with journals, that you sent an articles, writing. So how comes it? And can you tell us about your journals and your articles? Well, in my journals, you know, whoever is becoming a professor, you write a lot of journals in your field of interest. That is to say, in the field of visual impairment. So I really wrote a lot of things, a lot of books, and you know, it is separated, you know, all over in the internet. If you enter internet, definitely you will come across of my journals, the journals I've written. Is there any one you want to talk about? All my journals are very good, definitely sure. All my journals, I like them, and it gives me encouragement to do all these kind of things. And when people read your journals, do they get back to you to tell you remarkable words? I only see their comments. Their comment on WhatsApp. Okay. And in Passbook, in fact, they do it, and in some of the writings, some of the student write-ups, they used to quote me and you know, put me. So that, you know, I'm really happy about that as well. Okay, you're really happy about it. Yes. Now let's talk about Professor DISO. It's a nice one having you on the platform today on Rahma TV on the Guest of the Week. Thank you. Tell us about your family. How loving do you share good times with your family? Because seeing you, your appearance, you look a loving father. That's right. You look a loving... Tell you one thing, the names of... And you look a loving husband to your wife, because having mentioned her here is really wow for her to say she has... For them? Yeah. I have 2 wives. Oh, you have for them? Yes. Wow, beautiful. And their names are Aishas as well. Well, Aisha? Aisha and Aisha, they're my wives, yes. Okay, good. And one of them is graduate. Wow. That is my first wife. Okay, is Yami is her name, and she's the daughter of DISO. Okay, and alhamdulillah, she has now finished her master's in education, and she's even now working with the Zonal Education Office Municipal. Wow, beautiful. Yes. And the other one we have just started, and I put her in FCE now. She's doing her NCE, because, you know, I can't stay with the person that is not even educated. So you can't stay. Why? Please tell me. Because the professor, tell me. Why I can't stay with the person that is not educated is because when I have something to read and she cannot be able to read for me, that would be rubbish. That would be rubbish. Yeah. So that was it. I actually love talking with you. You know, I told you that is on your own lifestyle with your family. So we're listening. The children, your wife. My wife is very helping, is really giving me a helping hand, and my children as well. Wherever I want to go, they take me. Whatever I want to do, they do it for me. So I really enjoy. None of my family is misbehaving to me as well. Good one. So everybody, and alhamdulillah, all my children have attended universities as well. No, that's good. My last daughter is now doing. Is now reading sciences anyway. Wow, your physiology. She's reading. Yeah, my last daughter is reading physiology. She's now in level 4,
trying to finish her physiology.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
and
you
we
very
won't
much.
leave this interview without knowing or asking you, what's your favorite meal, Professor? I want you to laugh, that's why.
Can you provide it for me?
No, we just want to know what professors... You know, some people watching, they'll be amazing, like, wow, look at him. You know, people admiring, talking, you know, so many things they've been listening. So they want to know, okay, I listened to Professor JIBRIL, and honestly, he likes to eat tuwo, he likes to eat rice, he likes to eat fried yam. You know, somebody could come out to say, this is... I listened to him, everything about his profile really enticed and was amazing to me.
Well, this time around, I prefer tuwon acha because I'm diabetic.
Okay, tuwon acha.
Yes.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my best meal. And I don't usually take cow meat, but I prefer chickens and sheep meat anyway.
So what's your best kind of attire?
Well,
Especially when you were in London. So what were you wearing? Were you still wearing the kaftan we wear here?
Definitely.
So tell us about your attire.
No, they look at me whenever I wear this kind of things. They come and touch it and say,
They like it?
They really like it, of course. I really like, and to your surprise, I go to London from here, from Nigeria, to my school alone.
Alone?
Believe me, nobody.
Tell us about it.
Nobody guide me.
Nobody guide you,
Nobody
Professor?
guide me. Not until when I went to Heathrow University.
Okay, Heathrow.
I mean Heathrow Airport.
Heathrow Airport.
Yes, somebody came and say, "Are you Malam JIBRIL?" And I said, "Yes."
Okay.
So he used to take me. He take me to the coach where I took bus to my school. Alhamdulillah, that's the only person that assisted me. But nobody has ever hold my hand from here to where I was going.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
In
so
all this, we should tell you congratulations and thanks to Allah
Yeah.
for all of it. So what kind of footwear do you like to move around with? Haven't gone to England. You know, it's a very cold place. So
Yeah.
how did you manage? Because here, as an Ariwa, we stay here, we are good with palm slippers.
tell you what.
Huh?
When I was in England,
Okay.
they provided me with a dog.
A dog?
Dog.
Okay.
D-O-G.
Dog then?
Yeah. that lead me to wherever I'm going.
Oh, that's good. That's
Now the only thing the dog do is when we reach a bus stop, then the dog will snip at my fingers, meaning I should stop or I should take up a bus.
Wow.
And then when we want to go to upstairs, the dog will bend its body near on my leg here, meaning we are going up. So, and I was given an allowance to buy the food for that dog.
Wow.
I was given an allowance. So
I think with what you just said, I could ask you this question. What do you think the Nigerian government should do or change towards handling or maybe treating the visually impaired?
believe me, they can't do anything. They can only say it, but they will never do it.
They can do anything, Professor?
Believe me, it was
because
only,
you just said about them giving you a dog.
It was
and
only,
I was,
excuse me, it was only Malik Shikrau. If to say he is the head of state, definitely sure he will definitely
Wow.
help person with disabilities.
That means he has a heart of care.
Believe me,
Oh.
as far as I'm concerned, he has a heart of care.
Yeah.
But now they will say this and that, but they will never do anything. Sorry.
Okay. But now they will never do anything. But you being on that seat, you know how it is. Because I've really enjoyed what you're telling me. The treatment over there is really a special service for physically challenged person like you. You can imagine giving you money to feed the dog as well. They give you allowances for that. And they even had to know, they just felt that you are their responsibility. And they were taking care of you. They showed you love. They didn't just only show you love, they guided you. In our system here, do you think there is any way we can pick up to start somewhere? Let's start somewhere.
Well, this man is saying he is Kadimul Islam. So we pray to Allah so that God will turn his mind to the to people living with disabilities. I trust him.
Okay.
He could do, certainly he could do something as well. So I hope he will see this program and please let his mind come to the disabled people.
Wow.
And he has really made it anyway because he wanted to make a commission. I wouldn't want to talk about commission so that people will say, this man is looking for a commission. No, I'm not looking for a commission.
You already said you're not looking
yes,
for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I hope Allah will turn his mind so that he will make him definitely sure to think about disabled people and start giving them an allowance, say, of at least 10,000 naira
A month?
Before, yeah, a month.
Okay.
Before
Do
they,
you mean that,
before,
okay.
excuse me, before they say, all right, we don't want to see you people, the disabled, we don't want to see you people begging in the street. At least make a promise of, you know, giving them 10,000 naira. You could see they will gather about 2,000 people, giving them different things, but no disabled. There's no single disabled among the people they give this kind of things. So we want them to please at least go, the wife of the governor, to make sure now she collected disabled people and, you know, started giving them at least jari of say 10,000 naira or whatever. It a lot depends on the disability, you know, but definitely sure if they do that, we will say yes, they are doing very well.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Yes.
It's really been a nice time with you in the studio.
Yes.
We talked so much and I enjoyed it. If you leave me, I will continue another 2 hours because you sound very interesting. I want to thank you so much, very much, for being our guest on Rahma TV, on Guest of the Week. I would like to have you again on this program because it's really enjoying.
Madam, if you like, you can invite some of our people from special education
I will do that, I promise.
Who could definitely talk a lot about people living with disabilities. Because some people think he is blind, he needs special education, he is deaf. No. There are those that cannot be able to read, that cannot be able to understand what the teacher is teaching them. So there's even the gifted, they need special education. So please, you need to invite some of our teaching staff here, especially there are those that are coming here tomorrow. What is, not tomorrow, on Tuesday, they come here on Tuesday now. You can decide to, you know, meet any of them, call him to come and talk to you over the TV. Definitely sure they will give more explanation.
I promise you, Professor, will do that, Professor DISO.
Okay.
It's nice having you on the program with JIBRIL.
Thank you.
I'm grateful and I hope to have you again and again.
Thank
well,
you.
With this, we have come to the end of this program on Guest of the Week on Rahma TV. We'll see you sometime next time on the same program, the Guest of the Week. We'll find out who is going to be our next Guest of the Week next week. Until we come your way again, stay good and stay out of trouble and always help the visually impaired people and persons. Try to always help them in the community, in the society, whatever you can do for them. Don't despise them because they are good to us here. You can see my guest today. Professor was really a good one. Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.